Okay. Hello, everybody. Welcome. I don't know how to talk about stuff without having something in the background, so I'm gonna put on some Spelunky. That's fine. I don't know if we're even gonna play a game. No, PGL, we're not starting the stream with Puppy Dog today. Ugh. I'm stressed, man. That's this. Where do we even begin? No chat box over the game. So, thank you everyone for showing up for a quiet, just chatting stream. To start off, I'm okay. I'm good. But I appreciate you coming out in force to support me. Thank you. Good to see everyone. I'd love to say hello to everyone individually. Oh, I will. Hi, Spang. Hey, C Toad. Ophelia, CBB. Look, I'm Ash now. Teravan, Background. Hey. Hey, Parrish and Ross. Hey, Melon and HD. Kristen, Sunset, Shark by Shark. All Shark and Handsome is at he's at the Deer Hunter summer camp. You guys know that band? They do like one of those Jared Leto things, but without like the creepy sex cult. Pretty sweet. Sunnyvo, Garth, Lark. Lark, by the way, thank you for personally removing the underscore from my Twitch name. I appreciate it. Everyone in chat has decided to give you credit. What, Hunter? No, not like... Whatever, it's fine. Creepy sex cult? Yeah, you don't know about Jared Leto? That's not what we're talking about. Hey, Clem. Hey, Dynamite. Hey, Saf. Felix, PGL, Gas Cookies. Hey there, Ivy, Ori, Danger, Grape Tape. Where do we begin? I don't know, man. I think it's finally time. We should have a little talk about Jessie Abeb. And this might be a tough one, okay? But it's been something that's been such a huge stressor in my life for months now. But it's not an oh no situation. I'm not here to like blow her up. Every time I click outside the window, like it's okay. I think I know how to be a streamer by now. Whatever. I'm gonna admit to you, I'm not reading chat much today. You know what? One more thing before I like get down to talking. I should probably turn off like Streamlabs alerts, right? Because I don't know. It's been something that's been seriously weighing on my mind for months. And let me tell you what I don't want to do. I like those of you who've been around a long time. I was real close with a gal named Jessie Abeb who played a lot of Spelunky. Now plays a lot of variety games. She is a bun, and she is a good bun. I rated her like a little over a year ago, and we became fast friends, and she was at every single minute of every single one of my streams for like a year and some change. We were inseparable. I mean, we entered Spelunky tournaments together. She was a community manager, a Poison Talks guest, just a pillar of the Poison type world, you know? And it felt like overnight everything changed. And it kind of cast a shadow over everything I've done for the last 3 months. Every time I open Premiere or OBS, every time I go live, I hesitate, and I have a lot of doubt in what I'm doing, and I wanna try and clear the air a little bit and feel better and get back to feeling good about making things online and being an entertainer, you know? What I don't want to do is stir up any drama or make Jess look bad, because she is not the bad guy and I am not the good guy. I don't want to put words in her mouth or explain her intentions beyond what I feel like is important to tell a story. I don't want to shift any blame or dodge responsibility. I don't want to control any narrative or win anything. I don't want this to be a thing. And I haven't wanted it to be a thing. But I get regular messages. For 3 full months, I've gotten regular messages just being like, hey, boys, what happened with you and Jess? How come she's not around anymore? From IRL friends, from my mother, from community members, and sometimes it's like, hey, you know, how come Jess doesn't come around anymore? I'm out of the loop. What's going on? And sometimes it's like, yeah, Poison, I know who you really are, and I just want you to know that I can't support your content anymore. So when that's happening for such like an extended period of time, it's like, in my mind, I was just like, I wanna be away from it. I don't want people like disliking her or bring it up to her when I think she just wants to be done with me, and that's fine. But I want to try and like explain a little bit about what happened, just so I have it on the statement, just so when people ask, I can be like, we've talked about this, here's a VOD if you'd like it. I don't know. It's just an issue. I want to get a bunch of big feels off my chest. So that's what today's about. And if you're here for some Spelunky stuff, because there's Guy Spelunky on the screen, we're not really going to be doing that. And I hope that's okay. The stuff we talked about doing today earlier in the week, the YouTube React content, that's going to be... we're pushing that back to Friday. Again, I'm probably not going to be spending a lot of time reading chat. I'll peek over at it, but it's not going to be the usual back and forth stuff. I just want to kind of... like I said, talk about stuff and get it off my chest, if that's okay with you. And if it's not, I'll see you Friday. And if I say anything wrong or offensive or stupid, or I put my foot in my mouth, like, I am very welcome to any kind of feedback that y'all want to give. I'm very open to criticism. I'm very open to just being told again that I got a bunch of stuff wrong, because I did. So where do we begin? I mean, again, for those of you who were around for a long time, Jess and I were inseparable. And I always admired the content she put out. I always admired her as a person. She always did good about gassing me up, and I think she admired me a lot too. And the short version of a long story is I think I hurt her really bad. And she definitely hurt me really bad. And that's like a hard thing to just come on and address. So from the outset, I don't like the idea of coming on and name dropping. Like, a big part of streaming to me is I try to be an entertainer and like try to separate what I do here from my real life in a positive way, you know? I try to just like bring the good and bring the happy and bring the funny and bring the jokes and give you guys a distraction from your everyday lives, because that's what this is for me, is a distraction from my everyday life, you know? I hope I do that. But man, somewhere along the line, things got real mixed up, you know? I guess I guess a place that makes sense to start is like when everything fell apart, which a good half of you I think were in chat the day that Jess decided to stop associating with me, you know? I don't like it. It's uncomfortable to name drop. It's uncomfortable to talk about this stuff, and I don't want to bring more issues into her life, you know? I don't want her to, like, get a bunch of DMs like, hey, you know, Poison was talking about you, and her just being like, hey, here we go again. But I don't want to, like, have to keep fielding questions and talking about it for the rest of my life either. So there was a time back in mid-March, and I'm going to try to tell this story in an unbiased way and take responsibility for my actions while still trying to explain my motivations. Okay? There was a time where I was playing some Spelunky. And this was shortly after Admiral Eggroll's doubles arena tournament. You know? Thank you, Pickle. Admiral Eggroll's doubles tournament, where Jess and I were partners. And one of, like, the behind-the-scenes people in the tournament who was helping to run stuff was my friend Skaterfish. Y'all know Skater. The only gal to have a custom role in Discord all to herself. And there was, like, a running joke between her and Eggroll and a couple of that gang where she doesn't stream. But every now and then, Matt Eggroll would be like, "Hey, everybody go and follow Skater. Everyone follow Skaterfish. You gotta go follow Skaterfish." And she'd be like, "No, stop it, Matt, stop it." And he'd be like, "No, go follow Skater." And I thought that was real funny. And so the next day, when Skater came into my chat, along with, like, Cassie and Egg Roll and a couple other people, I made the same joke, like, hey, everybody, go and follow Skitterfish. Make sure you go and follow Skitterfish. She's like, no, I have like 100 followers and I don't even stream. No. And I'm like, yeah, do it. Yeah, everyone do it. And everyone in chat is like, oh, I follow Skater. I'm like, yeah, great, do it. And she's like, no. And like on the second or third time, she's like, no. I'm like, I'm in on the joke. I feel like most people are in on the joke, but okay, all right. And like, I remember background in chat just like, Poison, the girl said no. And I'm like, yeah, okay, all right. And Jess specifically was like, okay, I'm not following her because I actually respect her wishes. I didn't handle that well. I snapped back, and I was very frustrated. And I think that's why this particular story is a good starting point. Because, background, you said, and I quote, Poison, the girl said no. And I'm like, yeah. In Jess's mind, in that moment, she was seeing someone who was clearly uncomfortable and saying, stop doing the thing you're doing. And in my mind, I was doing a bit like, yeah, everyone go and do the thing because it's funny. My intention was to embarrass her a little bit on an inside joke that we were in on and then give a wink and a nod to the audience, you guys, to be like, yeah, you know, it's all okay and she's in on it and it's fine. And in Jess's mind, I was doing something that I did often, which was take a joke or a bit too far, which was gaslight chat and make people uncomfortable in a way that they were uncomfortable to even bring up to me because I was the guy with the microphone. So if I had to say what the core issue of my relationship with Jessia Beb was, it was that we had a fundamental disagreement on the way to talk to people as an entertainer, because she is very direct and very blunt. And very, like, say things as they are and don't, like, leave room for misinterpretation, because that's how people can get hurt. And my view of it is, like, I think with the sense of humor I have and the content that I create, it requires a sense of trust between me and the audience. Like, an example I fell back on a couple times while I was explaining this to other people is, like, there was a time where I made an offhand comment about, like, when birds have their babies, so they feed them with their milk. Now, I don't believe that birds produce milk. And I think most of you know that it's a joke, but there were a couple people who were like, dude, does Poison really think that birds produce milk? Really? And so I saw that in chat and I ran with it. I'm like, yeah, no, I mean, they're not mammals, but they have mammalian characteristics. It's like the platypus, which is also a bird. And then there are a couple people who's like, what is Poison even saying anymore? Like, this doesn't make it's a. And then I'm like, all right, I'm kidding, I'm joking, I'm joking, it's fine. And like, I think there was like one guy in chat who's like, Poison, I really thought that you were just that stupid. And to have that sense of humor, I'm a button pusher. I like messing around with people. I like playing in that gray area between trust and not trust. I think it's funny to misread messages on purpose sometimes. So Mindy is like, Poison, that's not what I said. I'm like, ha ha ha. But no, I get it, I hear you, it's fine. Just hated that. Like, always thought that it was disingenuous and dishonest. And you know what? She wasn't wrong for feeling that. And she wasn't controlling, and she wasn't, like, shitty to believe that or tell me so. But it became a running issue where often things would go on in my chat that, like, I would see a whole bunch of LOLs and LMAOs, and then I would see just Jess as like, that's not funny. I don't like this. I can't, I'm not doing this. And it became something as like my closest friend and like my secondhand bun, my number one viewer, like when she's going out of her way to be like, hey, this thing you're doing sucks. It has an effect on the way people perceive me, you know? I remember in that Skaterfish moment, right? In that moment with Skaterfish where I was saying, hey, this is a funny inside joke, and she was saying, no, it's not, you're hurting people. I remember a couple people in chat, specifically, like, I think it was Fishian and Mongo, who instantly were like, oh, I feel bad now. I feel bad because maybe Jess is right and I'm disrespecting this random person and just bullying her for no reason. And that kind of thing happens when the trust between me and my audience is broken. Because if there's anybody who's uncomfortable, I will stop the bus and be like, hey, you know, we're on board, right? You're cool, right? But I say this because in that moment with Jess, where she was saying, are you sure you're not hurting someone's feelings? I snapped at her. And I said, I think her exact quote in chat in that moment was, she said, I'm not following Skater because I respect her wishes. And I saw that, and I saw everyone else having a good time, and then going back and being like, oh, now I feel bad. And because this had been a running issue that we talked about a whole bunch in the past, I was like, oh, well, thank you, Jess, for reminding me that I'm an asshole and I don't respect women. That is an overreaction. That was a sarcastic comment that I said in anger that doesn't make it okay. Just like, I'm not justifying it or saying that I wasn't wrong for doing it, because I was. That's mean. But like, she took it really, really hard. And she got really upset. And she said, that's not what I'm saying, and you're putting words in my mouth, which is the problem in the first place. And I said, okay, you're right. And in the moment, I apologized to Skater, and I apologized to Jess. And no, it's true. Snapping wasn't cool. It is a yikes. It is an oof. I was out of line in the moment. And I caught it, and I apologized to both parties, and I explained myself to chat. And I think I said at the time, going back on the VOD, just like, it's just really hard when there's only one person in chat who is that upset with my actions. Let's back up a little bit, because this was a thing that happened regularly where we would talk every day for hours, because she was my best friend, you know? It really was. And it would come up often where like something would be off-putting to her in chat, and she would call me out on it. And in my mind, she would be the only one not having a good time, you know? And in her mind, she'd be like, if I see you being a jerk, it's my job as your closest friend to call it out, right? Isn't it? And in that sense, I don't think she was wrong. I don't think I was wrong, because I'm just doing my best out here, and if I put my foot in my mouth and say some dumb stuff, you know, again, there's that trust that I think you guys don't know that I'm a big jerk. But it's good to have people hold you accountable for the things you do, you know? But it became a thing where I'm like, all right, if you're having an issue with the things I'm saying or the person that I am in chat, please bring it to me in private. Like, DM me and be like, hey, you're screwing up. As an example I use is my pal Sunset by Plane, who has been such a driving force in educating my stupid boomer ass in how to, like, use pronouns properly, use, like, how to better be an ally to trans or NB or non-traditional sexual orientations, because when I started streaming, I didn't know anything about it. It's just not a thing that was in my life. And so Sunset was very good about, like, if I was saying something dumb or misgendering or just being insensitive or having a bad take, Sunset would message me and be like, Poison, watch yourself. And I'd be like, cool. And then I'd adjust in the moment, you know? So huge shout out to Sunset just in general. Oh, Sunset is here. I thought you stepped out, so I figured I could talk about you behind your back. Love you, bro. And Jess did not do that for me. And that's not because she's bad or evil or wrong. I'd like to make that clear every step of the way. Like, I have some bitterness. I really do, but I hold no ill will towards her, and none of this is supposed to be an indictment of her or her actions. I hope that most of you, or all of you out there, still love Jessie Beb just as much, even if she's not around my channel. I think she is a great creator. I think she is a great friend. And again, I'm only talking about this because I have to. It's been literally once a week since the middle of March when this happened, where somebody is like, I'm out of the loop with Jess, talk to me, or like, Poison, I hate you now. And you know, it's a thing where several people, including several of you in chat, reached out and are like, hey, I know what really happened and I don't support your actions and I can't support your content anymore. And to any of you whose names are in chat right now, I see you and I forgive you. Like, I don't blame you for hearing that I was a big jerk and being like, I must have missed something big. But that's all the more reason why I feel like I was trying to just let it go. I was trying to be like water under the bridge. I'm just going to move past it. But it's gotten to the point where if I don't see someone for a while who used to hang around a lot and they haven't been around since March, I'm like, is this something that like they heard about who I really am and now they don't like me? Luca the Jackal hasn't been around in a while, and I said hey to him in another stream and he didn't respond. Does he hate me because of this now? I haven't seen Hectic in a while. Is it because he hates me now? I tweeted at Derek about Mongo's texture pack. He didn't respond. Did Jess tell Derek you that I'm a piece of garbage? And it's like I'm paranoid about it, you know? It sucks. But she's never done anything to purposely go out of her way to blow out my career. She is hurt and she has expressed her hurt in her own life and her own community and her own channels. And that's good. But I feel like I need to talk about it to, like, at the very least, so I get to stop thinking about it. So I would regularly tell Jess, like, hey, please bring this stuff. I can't watch Spelunky because it's hurt too many of my friends. Hey, Soul Fury. Man. I would regularly go to Jess, like, please, if you have these issues with me, if it's not something that's pressing on, like, if I'm not, like, seriously hurting somebody in the moment, please save it for after the stream. Bring it to me in private. I can't have this feeling of walking on eggshells that everything I do because you have a different sensibility is wrong, you know? But she, and I'm not going to speak to her intentions beyond what she's spoken about publicly because I don't want to put words in her mouth or tell anyone why she is the way she is. But she, like me, has been through a lot of trauma in the past, you know? We have both been manipulated and controlled and gaslit. We have both been through some serious emotional abuse. And again, don't need to go any further about that for her sake, but for my sake, it's like something I look out for and I'm aware of. So to be told when I'm just playing around with chat that what I'm doing is, like, harmful and wrong really sucks. So I'm like, just bring it to me in private. If you really think there's some kind of great enough issue that I need to be reined in the moment, yeah. And then time and time again, it would be an issue of it would come up in chat again, and it would be her having a really bad time when I'm just out here being me. And again, sometimes I have some bad takes. Sometimes I put my foot in my mouth. I mean, I can think of 3 or 4 times off the top of my head where I'm like, whoa, I really shouldn't have said that. And not in the ho-ho Poison made a dick joke, but in a, oh, that's weird. Maybe don't talk about that. And I appreciate having someone that close to me with such a different perspective on things. To, like, rein me in a way. But in this moment, back to the point of the Skaterfish situation. She called me out in public in a way that I begged her not to, and I responded in an unacceptable way. I'm usually bigger and better than that, not because I'm so damn great, but because I really try to be. You know, I just try to be good. Clark, thank you for coming through. Good to see you too. But, like, I don't know, man. I tried to apologize in the moment, and I apologized to Skater, who, for her part, messaged me in the moment during the stream, hey, I wasn't offended at all, and I'm really, like, thank you so much for taking the time to apologize and make sure that some rando's feelings aren't hurt. That's really big of you to do. Don't feel like you have to, like, respond real soon, but, like, in the moment when Jess was telling me that I was hurting someone's feelings, Not only was it an inside joke that I'd thought about before, but Skater told me that she was fine. Regardless, none of that absolves me from the responsibility that, like, I have to measure my words better. And I know I really hurt Jess's feelings in that moment. And I felt really bad about it. And I apologized to her on stream, and I apologized to her after stream. But I also wasn't great about that either. Because after the stream, I'm like, hey, dude, you did the thing that I've been really asking you not to do, and it hurt me a lot, and it derailed the stream for a while, and it made me feel bad, and I think it made a lot of people in chat feel bad. Please stop. And I didn't use, like, attacking language like, you're a big jerk, you know? But I'm sure that I wasn't, like, the unideal gentleman in talking to her about it either. And I don't have the receipts for it, which I'll get to in a second. But, like, man, I don't think I handled any of it well. Because in my mind, all I could really think of was, why are you doing this? Like, I was mad. I'm like, why does this keep happening? Why is it an issue that you can't, like, as a pillar of my community, I am a small-time Twitch streamer. I am not a big deal. I have a check mark next to my name, but that doesn't mean much, you know? But I am still a public figure in a small way, so to have somebody, like, that close to me constantly second-guessing everything I'm doing made me feel like, am I a jerk all the time? And that sucks, you know? But the point of any of this is not to judge Jess's actions in that moment. It's to understand why she did what she did and use it as a setup for what happened next. Because I apologized, but I was also angry. And I also probably said some uncomfortable things to her, like, you need to stop doing this, you're hurting me. And I think that triggered something in her, like, that she felt like she was bad, but then that's something emotionally abusive people do, is to project and put the blame on you, and is like, we both got caught up in those feelings. But it wound up with her calling me emotionally abusive. In a very public way, at first in private. But it's something that I noticed over time, that she would regularly take the way she felt about conversations we had and bring them to other people in the community and try to be like, am I crazy or is Poison a jerk? And when you're a public figure, even in a small way, like, having that kind of undermining of who you are, that's really tough to get past, you know? Like, I would have, whenever we'd have, like, a real argument, which got more frequent as time went on, I would have other people being like, hey, what did you say to Jess? Because she is, like, really having an issue. And so that was another thing I asked her, like, hey, if you're having, like, these issues with the things I'm doing on stream, could you take them to me instead of, like, going behind my back and blowing stuff up? And yeah, Danger, you're right. It's very different when, like, I have an online persona that's, like, it's me, but it's also, like, a funny, wacky version of me. And it just got messy. The problem really arose when Jess took all of, like, the sum total of the way I was acting and called me emotionally abusive, and said that by telling her to not talk to other people about it, I was cutting her off from her support system and isolating her, and that's something an abuser does. And that by saying, hey, I understand why you're doing what you're doing, but, like, you trying to shift the blame onto me when I'm just doing my best too, that's something an abuser does. And it's like, dude, I've been in a couple very abusive relationships. One of them where I almost literally was murdered a couple times, and one of them where I wound up in a mental hospital. I know abusive relationships, and to be called an abuser was the most hurtful thing anyone has said to me in my life. So I escalated. I did. I know I did, and I knew I was at the moment, and I'm just like, that is, you need to get your shit together. I was mean about it. And that sucks. Because again, I am not the good guy in this story, and she is not the bad guy. All anyone can do ever is just be the best version of themselves that they can, you know? And I'm really trying. And because I know what it feels like to be gaslit and be screwed with like that, like it's really important to me to try to be emotionally available for the people I care about. It's really important to me to be like understanding of what makes other people tick. And so that's something I always tried to give Jess credit for, is like, she did everything she did to me and for me and in this community because she cared about me and my community and like my success. I know for a fact I would not have that little check mark next to my name without Jess. I know for a fact that a lot of you wouldn't be here if Jess hadn't brought you here or kept you here, you know? So what happened next is, I think, the messiest part. That, like, in my mind, like, I talked to Skater. I talked to Jess. I tried to apologize, but I was mad. And Jess saw that I was mad and thought that I was, like, completely jerking her around and like, playing with her feelings. So she blocked me. On Discord and on Twitch, and I'm like, man, all right, so I can't do anything or say anything. And then 2 different people messaged me saying, like, what happened with you and Jess? Because she said some stuff to me about what you were doing. And in her mind, she's like trying to talk her feelings out with people that matter to her. But man, she picked like my roommate and my IRL best friend, and like, and she like talks to my mother, and it's just like she can't go around and be like, hey, these are the reasons why I think Poison's a jerk, without causing some real damage to me as a public figure and as a friend, when I can't talk to her in the first place. And my whole goal was to be like, please talk to me. So you know what I did? And again, in her mind, she was really hurt, and I don't think she deserves any blame for doing what she did. She thought that I was emotionally manipulating her. Neon, there's extra layers to it that make me think that a little bit, but even if she was being manipulative or controlling about it, just like me, she's doing the best she can. She reacted on it like she had a trauma response to me being a jerk, you know? I appreciate you standing up for me and like reading the moment as it is, but that's not what this is about. But you know, I saw that I was blocked. I heard that she was messaging other people about me, and I nuked our Discord VOD, or our Discord chat logs, you know? That was something where I'm like, if I'm gonna get shut off, like, if I'm gonna get blocked and she's going to be using my words against me, sometimes out of context in a way that I didn't think was fair, if she's going to be unreasonable about it, I want to take that weapon away. You know? Well, I can't have my words being used against me that I said to her in private. So I nuked it. And that led to the biggest thing. Again, I'll get to in a moment. But like, from my perspective in that moment, it was self-defense, you know? She would later say that I was like erasing our history or ghosting her. It wasn't about that at all. And after I went back and deleted like everything I'd said in Discord that she was spreading around in screenshots in my mind, and maybe I'm even too paranoid about that. Maybe it only happened once or twice. And maybe it was to close friends, but I got the vibe when other people messaged me about it, like, yeah, Jess is talking some real shit. I can fully accept that if I'm just like over paranoid about that, because I've had that happen to me my whole life, you know. And there, like, is there a worse feeling than hearing good friends are like using your words against you behind your back? But again, to her, she was going to her friends for support in a difficult situation because I really hurt her. The whole thing sucks, right? She didn't notice right away that I deleted all the VODs. And in the time in between, I sent her like a long message trying to explain myself, not unlike what I'm doing now, trying to put anger and frustration aside, and I told her that she always has a place in my community if she wants it. That she can always come back and be here. That, like, even if we're not close, even if she needs to take a break from my content because I hurt her, even if she fundamentally disagrees with who I am, she's loved. And I want her to have that space. And she reacted well, and she even apologized. And in between, there was like the curry stream I did, and she was there for that even after the blow up. But then a couple days passed, and she noticed that I had deleted our Discord history. And that led to a very public, very ugly meltdown in her Discord. Which, when she blocked me, I don't know if she or another mod kicked me out of it. But, like, my roommate Magnus showed me, like, hey, I don't know if you see what's going on, but I want to stay out of it, but you should probably take a look at this. And Jess was saying that someone, she didn't name me the whole time, but everybody knew. Someone had cut her out of their lives like a wound of the heart. Somebody had ghosted her like she'd been ghosted before, and she couldn't believe it was happening. Somebody had broken her heart, and like she was having a very, very hard time with it. In my mind, like, this had happened days before, and I thought we had resolved it. Like, I deleted those messages and then sent her a fresh message, which I was hoping was a fresh start for our Discord history, you know? Where it's like, I know you're feeling bad, and I know we've been feeling bad, but this is how I would like to move forward. If you want a break, if you just don't want to be around me anymore, I understand completely. But here's an olive branch, you know? And what I saw in that conversation was some of the saddest stuff I've ever seen. Jess was saying over and over again how hurt she was that someone, me, would do that to her. And that someone would hurt her that bad. And I saw a lot of people in that chat, again, some people who are in this chat right now being like, I can't believe he would do that to you. I can't believe that he would throw away your friendship. I remember the Skaterfish incident the other day, and like how he snapped at you. There really must be something to it. And she's like, I can't believe I missed the signs. I can't believe that I was so fooled, so blinded that he turned out to be like this. And everyone's like, it's okay. He's a real jerk. And from the outside, I don't blame anybody for buying into that narrative, because it wasn't even a narrative. Those were her real feelings. I don't think she was playing it up or being manipulative or trying to blow me up, but man, it really had that effect. Within like a couple hours, I had 3 or 4 different DMs like, Poison, you know you're a real jerk, right? Poison, I don't think, you know, I didn't know it was like this, and I don't think I can support your content anymore. Poison, I don't know what happened, but you have some explaining to do, and I hope you address it. And some people listened. Some people, like, asked for my side of the story before making a judgment, and I endlessly appreciate that. Some people were aggressive about it, then heard me out, and they're just like, we'll see where things end up, like, when this all washes over. And some people were just like, I'm out, man. Like, I can't be a part of this anymore. That broke my heart. And you know, it was in the middle of March, which was supposed to be my daily YouTube uploads, where I was really focused on doing that and getting back to form, you know? And like the next the next 3 videos I'd had set up to upload featured Jess prominently. That's a big part of the reason that I haven't uploaded Doge's videos. I tried with the Amiibo video and then it didn't work, so I went back and tried to watch what was up, and every single clip had Jess in it. The Curry stream has Jess in it. The Monster Rancher streams, I raised a bun named Jess. And it's like, shit, man. And like I said, I tried to wait for it to blow over. I tried to just be like, this will pass and like it'll come out in the wash. But up to this week, I had to have another 2 conversations with more people about like what actually happened. Because there's like, I know I'm just a small-time Spelunky player and internet person, right? If people hear Poison's a jerk, most people are just like, oh, Poison's a jerk. If you heard like your favorite YouTuber was a jerk, you'd be like, oh, I guess they're a jerk. There's no reason to look into it more. I'm not that important in most of your lives, and that's okay. But like, man, I don't know. I wanted to say something in that moment. I wanted to pop back into Jess's Discord and just be like, hey, just so you know, I am not ghosting you or melting down or cutting you out of my life or having a serious issue. I deleted our chat logs so we could, partly because I felt like they were being actively used against me, but mostly so we could have a fresh start. And again, I told her she always had a place in my community. But that was also mixed with, I'm really mad about the way things went down, so I understand that it wasn't received that well. But when it came to, like, you know, I watched my anniversary video that Jess and Shark made for me, and, like, fully half of the people in that video either don't come around anymore or actively dislike me because of the whole situation. So it's like every time I go to stream, every time I see anyone in chat, are they being like, hey, Poison, or is it like, hey, Poison, I'll give you another chance for now? You know? And I'm sick of second-guessing myself. I'm sick of being like, does everybody hate me because they don't know the whole situation? Do people know the whole situation, but the things I did were that unforgivable? And it, like, in an unpleasant way, part of me is like, is Jess trying to blow me up? Is she jealous? Is there another layer? Because, I mean, there's more to it. We had like a year of talking every day. There's extra layers that I'm not going to spread around her business or our personal conversations in that way. You know? But the conclusion I came to is the same conclusion for her as it is for me. She's doing the best she can, and so am I. Anyway, the last thing that I for sure did wrong is when people started messaging me regularly, being like, hey, now I know the real you, Poison. I think you're kind of a jerk about it. After like the 3rd or 4th time, I messaged her angry. Like, what are you saying to people? Like, the conversation was about, like, please stop, like, talking about me being a jerk in my own chat and undermining my viewers' respect for me. It was like, please talk to me in private to correct my behavior. It's like, please trust that I'm not a piece of garbage to begin with. Please don't spread around our personal DMs to other people. And when all that was happening, I'm like, you need to stop. Because I can spread around DMs too. Like, I can take your stuff out of context, and there's some real unpleasant things you've said to me. So if you're gonna play that game, I can too. So get your shit together. Stop. That sucks, huh? That was taking someone who's feeling vulnerable and hurt and, like, making it all about my emotions. And I hope you can understand it. Not to forgive me or, like, absolve me from responsibility, but just, like, that's something I did. And that's where I was coming from when I did it. I took someone, a close friend, who was hurting, and because they were hurting me publicly and as a streamer and as a friend, and I threatened her, and I was the big jerk she was making me out to be. She was hurt, but you were hurt too. Being hurt doesn't give you the right to just go into that kind of situation unregulated and hurt the other person back. And that's something I did, and I deeply regret it. But it's like, looking back, like, how would I have handled it differently? You know? I guess during the Skaterfish thing, I could have bitten my tongue and just accepted that she was going to go on and, like, make me look bad as a public figure. I tried to address it, like, in DMs with her. We had endless conversations about what I needed from her is in terms of, like, a community leader, in terms of, like, a friend. And through it all, I feel like I was very much there for her. You think I'm blaming myself too much? I mean, I'm trying to take my share of the blame, because I can guess at her feelings and why she did the things she did the way she did, but I'm not going to shift any blame onto her, and I'm not going to say that she was the bad guy or even that she was wrong for acting through her emotions. But when I said that to her, when I told her, like, get your shit together, that's when she posted an announcement in her Discord saying, Poison and I are no longer friends. I appreciate everyone's understanding in the matter, and I don't want to talk about it. But then, as the months went by, I would still get fresh DMs and fresh messages being like, this is still a thing, and I don't know if she's still talking about it because she's still hurt. I don't know if she still has more to say. I don't know if she wants an apology from me. I don't know. Because after all of it, I know she was feeling very vulnerable and very hurt and very attacked. And I'm sure she felt just as out of options as me. So I left it alone. And the only thing I've done since then, like, I pop into her stream once a month to refresh my sub. Just to be like, and I don't say much, maybe I'll send an emote. But, like, I'm still subbed to her on Twitch because I want to let her know that I still support her and care about her. I want to let her know that, like, it's hard to say I'm sorry for all of it, you know? Because I feel like at the core of the issue, I set up a lot of boundaries and she crossed a lot of them. And she did make me look bad in a public way as a public figure. And she was disrespectful to me in chat and in public and in private and in other people's DMs to spread around my business. But none of those things were her intention. She didn't do any of that out of malice or spite. She didn't do any of that because she's bad. Because how can I sit here and explain all of my motives and my intentions and then not give her the same benefit, you know? Seems like the people who don't have a direct stake in the matter and were sending nasty DMs were certainly not the good guys. I think they were. I think the same way Jess felt completely justified in letting her hurt out in the way she did, in the same way the people who messaged me were standing up for their friend who was visibly hurt. My side of it, I didn't make public because I didn't want to make things worse for her. I didn't want to make things worse for myself. I didn't want to continue drama. I didn't want to blow something up even more. But, like, think of any of your IRL friends. If you had a guy friend or girlfriend who were just like, yeah, my partner was abusive to me and made me feel horrible, would you think of this person you don't know as well? Yeah, maybe I'll go talk to her ex-boyfriend and get his side before I make a judgment. Or would you be like, wow, what a piece of garbage. You deserve way better. I don't blame anybody who came to me I don't blame anybody who came to me and asked for clarification, who asked for insight, who asked for my perspective, or I don't blame anybody who came to me just to call me an asshole. because all they could see was someone they care about hurting. And from the public part of it, the only part of this that was really public was me snapping at Jess on my own stream and her leaving in tears. So I don't blame anybody. You, as a matter of fact, I commend all of you who were there to stand up for Jess. Because she is a good bun. And she was a good friend of mine. Sucks, you know? Like, that's why when I go to make YouTube content or even just upload the stuff that Doge made and I see her name all over it, it's like, I don't want to be disrespectful. She decided to leave my life over it. And I totally understand and I respect it, you know? But it hurts. It hurts that I feel like I lost a really close friend. And I don't want to, like, go about uploading YouTube content like, oh, look at me, here's this cool thing, and by the way, Jess is all over it. And if she doesn't want to be a part of it, I don't want to bring that hurt back to her. I don't want people to, like, mention to her, like, oh, I saw you in a Poison video. But I also don't want to second guess myself, and if I see, like, someone who used to come around a lot, and they don't anymore, I don't want to think, is this because of Jessie Beb? Is this because I broke her heart? And maybe I am an asshole. I thought about that for weeks, that I was justified in the things I did, justified in the things I said. And I feel like if things played out exactly the same, I would make a lot of the same choices. Maybe I am too stubborn or set in my ways, but I don't do anything without thinking about how it's going to affect other people. My friends, my community, my viewers, how it's going to make me look. I think about everything I do on this stream, everything I do publicly, and I do my best to think about everything I do privately. I was a really good friend to her. And she was a really good friend to me. And then because of our trauma, we made mistakes and we hurt each other, and we can't come back for that. Is that why you asked this chat, am I an asshole? Absolutely. Because I needed that support that you guys have always given me. And some of you knew more than others, and some of you knew nothing, and some of you knew close to everything. And to have you guys come, even the people who were like, Poison, I think you're such a jerk for what happened, but I'm still here, and I still care. That means so much, man, especially for some internet almost strangers. Like, every single name that I see in chat, even if you're only around every now and then, even if you only toss emotes around, like, it makes me so happy. I feel like I have a connection with you. You know? It's parasocial, sure, but I'm not big enough where it's just names on a screen that are scrolling. I'm still the size where I know every single one of you who come into chat. And at the very least, I have an in-joke, or I have an idea of the way you type, or I you know, I look forward to seeing every single one of you. And the thought that, like, I screwed that up by being too sensitive, by snapping at a friend, by blowing something up out of proportion, that sucked. Because this stream has been, like, getting to be Poison type has been absolutely a highlight of my entire life. So thank you for that. Our Stuffer, congratulations on your baby. That's wonderful. I'm sorry for getting, like, this emotional about it. I was trying not to. I did good. But, you know, it's like, it means so much that you guys give me the benefit of a doubt, that you guys are here to listen to me, that you guys care. And I feel like I needed to do this. I don't, I swear, one report from anybody that anyone is going and giving Jess shit for anything I've said, and you are permanently banned from this channel. You understand? She is not the bad guy. And I hope that I've gotten my feelings and my emotions out in, like, a respectful way that, like, gives her the benefit of a doubt, too. I hope it's come off, like, in a way that provides more context. But I don't want anyone to think that, like, I'm just, like, trying to win or trying to set up the narrative, you know? I don't know. I don't think there's any repairing what we had. But like I said, it was so hard for me at the beginning when all this happened back in March to just come on and be like, hey, everything is fine. That's why there was a couple of weeks where every time I came on, I'm just like, hey, I'm really self-conscious. You guys don't all hate me, right? And that's why, like, I've had such a hard time sticking to my promises and sticking to my YouTube uploads. And, like, it's because every time I do anything, I just have this, like, block. And I want to let it go. I would love a day where I could pop into Jess's chat and, like, hang out for a little bit, where she could pop in here and, like, it's just okay. And Jess, if you wind up watching this, if somebody told you it's happening or something, like, really sorry for all of this. And you always have a place here, even if we're never gonna have that friendship again. Because when it comes down to it, we sure weren't great for each other as friends, were we? Like, I stressed you out with the very core of my being. And I got real upset when you tried to rein me in all the time. We both have so many issues with control and being controlled. We both have so many issues with trust and trusting other people's intentions. Like, I know I regularly drove you nuts, and you regularly drove me nuts, but you are a great content creator and a great person, and I'm gonna keep popping in once a month, dropping a sub because I support you. And hopefully after this, I won't have it in the back of my mind all the time. I won't have it as, like, something that haunts me every time I open OBS, every time I try to edit a video or upload something to YouTube. And from here, I'm going to finally put the stuff up that I've been talking about putting up for ages, because I needed this release. I needed this closure in my own mind, you know? And I feel like I've had that, and it's in part of every single one of you in chat, like, thank you for being here to listen. Thank you for coming in. Thank you for making dumb jokes to break the tension and getting banned. Thank you, thank you for just thanks for I used to say it a lot more, and I'm looking forward to being able to say it more often, with this off my chest. I am so deeply, incredibly thankful every single day that I get to come online and be an internet person, you know? That is, like, it's one of the highlights of my entire life, and it's just so cool. It's just so cool that you guys come and watch me make funny noises and die in the video game. And it's especially cool that I get to fully be myself. Whether it's poison type or whether it's just Jim. So this has been just Jim. And one more time, thank you. On Friday, we're gonna get back to some kind of normal, okay? I'm gonna upload to YouTube tonight. We're getting the Amiibo tournament up. It's happening. Like, I don't have anything holding me back anymore. And I'm going to just let myself be. It means so much. So much that a bunch of random internet people from all over the world are here and listening to me and supporting me. And I hope that with the stuff that I do and the stuff that I make, like, I bring you some fraction of, like, the good feelings and the good vibes that you give me, that I can give you, like, anything back for the endless support that you, the person hearing this, gives me. So again, Friday we're gonna do the silly YouTube stuff. Maybe play some Spelunky afterwards, depending on how long it takes. I don't know. But I needed this off my chest. I needed this so bad, and thank you. I welcome your DMs if you have any more questions, any more feelings, anything that feels unresolved, or just to say I support you. I welcome any of it. And we're finally gonna get back to normal, okay? I love you guys. Thank you.
Testify to the strength of a true bond, flying high over the heads of a root mob, staying at the revolution of the whole clock, kill 'em all.